Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Long ago, in a faraway place, there lived a lovely princess named Snow White. Her hair was black as coal, her lips red as a rose, and her skin as white as snow. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, was very cruel. She hated anyone who was more beautiful than she. The queen treated Snow White like a servant. Snow White never complained. She was obedient and hard working, but she dreamed of a handsome prince who could take her away to his castle. One day, while drawing water from the well, Snow White saw a handsome stranger who was charmed by her singing. But Snow White was too shy to speak to him. Every day inside the castle, the queen asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" And every time the mirror had the same reply. "You are the fairest," he told her, and the queen was content for another day. But as Snow White grew older, she also grew more beautiful, and the queen became very jealous. One day the magic mirror told the queen that someone else was the fairest in the land. It was the princess, Snow White. In a jealous rage, the queen called her royal huntsman into the throne room. "Take Snow White far into the forest and throw her into the river," she commanded. "Poor Snow White," said the hunter to the innocent princess. "I cannot do that. You must run away and hide from the queen." Snow White was so frightened that she ran off through the dark woods. At last she came to a small cottage. "Who lives here?" Snow White wondered. Then she heard voices singing in the distance. The seven dwarfs who lived in the cottage were coming home from a hard day at work in the diamond mine. The dwarfs introduced themselves. Their names were Sleepy, Grumpy, Happy, Doc, Dopey, Sneezy, and Bashful. They invited Snow White to share their supper. Snow White felt so safe with the dwarfs that she decided to stay with them. Soon after, the evil queen found out that Snow White was still alive. She made another plan. The queen ran to the basement of the castle, where she mixed a potion that would change her into an old hag. Then she took an apple and slowly dipped it into the potion. "One bite of this poisoned apple, and Snow White will close her eyes forever," she said. The old woman showed up at Snow White's window. "Hello, dearie," she said. "You're so beautiful. Taste one of my delicious apples. Everyone likes apples like these." Then she held the poisoned apple out to Snow White. The birds tried to warn Snow White away from the poisoned fruit. They flew around the hag, trying to make her drop the apple. Stop it, cried Snow White. The birds flew away sadly. But the animals of the forest ran to the dwarfs to warn them that they needed to come right home. 7 dwarfs rushed to the cottage and found the old woman trying to sneak away. Snow White was lying on the floor with her eyes closed. The dwarfs chased the hag into the forest. A storm began to blow as the evil woman ran away. Suddenly, she came to the edge of a steep and rocky cliff. First, she tried to move a huge rock so it would roll down on the poor dwarfs and crush them. "Look out!" cried Grumpy to the others, helping them to dodge away. At that moment, lightning struck. The queen lost her balance and fell off the cliff. The sad little dwarfs built a bed of gold and glass for their beloved Snow White. They kept watch over her day and night. One day, a handsome prince rode into the forest. When he saw Snow White, he fell in love with her. The prince kissed Snow White tenderly. His kiss awakened her. Snow White and the prince left for his kingdom, where they lived happily ever after.